There's lots of different ways to get to Oxford. You can either come in by train. Make sure you come into the main railway station though, not the Oxford Parkway, otherwise you'll be about 3 or 4 miles out. Or you can come in by bus. Or there's parking. Actually, you know, if you've got your own car, we've parked here right in the middle of Oxford. It's quite expensive though. It's about £4 for 1 hour, £6 for 2, so pretty expensive. And there's a limit of 2 hours as well, so not exactly ideal.
This is Little Clarendon Street, which is a nice row of restaurants and delis off the centre of Oxford. If you look for the St Giles Memorial, which we're going to show you soon, it's behind that and to the right. Here we are in Oxford, along St Giles, and behind me is the Martyrs Memorial, which Jake knows the history, I hope.
Yeah, it was built 300 years after people were burnt at the stake, and they were basic Protestants, and they were burned just for their beliefs.
Which is unbelievable, really. I mean, I don't know how Oxford was looking in those days. I assume it didn't have all these Victorian buildings, but actually people being burnt at the stake here. And there was a Huguenot Protestant decided to put the memorial up to as honour of them being martyrs for the cause. There's a legend, I don't know if it's true or not, that some inspiring Oxford students decided to tell tourists that this was not a memorial at all, but actually the spire of an underground church. And they charged them an entry fee, and we've got some public toilets just down the corner, and they were told, go down those steps, you can see a glorious church. And of course by the time they came back up, the devils had done a runner with their money. But that does tickle me, because if you have a look, it could be a spire of an underground church.
We should do that, you know.
And that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got to earn some money.
So we'll film that now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Right, onwards and upwards.
So there aren't that many opportunities to actually go into the grounds of one of the colleges in Oxford, but this is just off Broad Street, and it's called Balliol College. They charge, what, £3 I think it was, wasn't it, admission?
£3 for an adult, £1 for a child. Although we got Jake in free.
We did.
We've run out of money. They claim that this is the oldest college standing in its own grounds in Oxford, back to 1290 something, unbelievably long time ago. All colleges, if you walk along the street, you'll just see walls, and the magic lies once you go via the Porter's Lodge into the quad, and there'll be, as you saw in the video, there'll be a lawn space and all the buildings around. So all the colleges are hidden. Don't think you're walking by walls, you're walking by beautiful, beautiful ancient colleges, and it's worth trying to get in if you can.
Absolutely. So we found our way back to Martyrs Memorial, the only place to actually sit and eat our pasties. Yeah. So what do you think then, Jake?
Oh, they look really tasty. I've already taken a bite.
You have, haven't you? You couldn't resist coming along.
Yeah.
I know.
Really
do you want to take another bite and see? Let's see what's in there.
Okay,
let's see what's in that pasty.
Okay.
Oh, let's have a look.
So if you look, and let me.
Absolutely.
It has some beef, some onion, and various other vegetables.
Oh, and potato, I think.
Oh yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And then it's all just got pastry around the outside.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And did you know that the traditional pasties actually had a dessert in them as well?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Didn't you?
No.
No. Hopefully that one hasn't got sort of like a jam pudding at the bottom.
Hopefully, yeah.
What have you got there, Dan?
Well, I couldn't resist it. It was 50p more, so I went for the beast. So I think it is just a Cornish pasty. It's just that it's a lot bigger.
And how much was it?
It was £5.45, and I think the normal Cornish pasties were £4.95. So quite not amazingly cheap, but then I suppose food is expensive in the UK, so not bad really as a takeout.
The other plus point is that they're nice and warm.
They are very nice and warm.
Which is
absolutely
good for a chilly day.
Totally fresh, and it is a bit chilly today, so I'm looking forward to tucking in.
Okay. I'm standing in the grounds of the Sheldonian Theatre, which all Oxford students come to know and possibly love from the major ceremonies that they have to attend at the start and end of their courses. Behind me is what we're nicknaming the Bridge of Sighs. It's a copy of the one in Venice. I don't believe anyone is dragged to prison via it in Oxford, hopefully not.
You never know.
Never know.
Bad grades and all that.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful area. I don't know if you videoed the heads around it.
I did.
But they're supposed to be the 12 apostles. It's quite a religious most things go back to religion in Oxford somehow or other. It was actually designed by Christopher Wren, and it was built in about 1662 to 1665 and paid for by the Chancellor of the time, somebody Sheldonian. So there you go. We've just had a little wander down the side streets of Oxford, and it reminds me of my student days that one of the lost pleasures of life is actually getting lost, which is quite hard with a mobile phone in hand. But I used to tuck my paper map in my bag and wander around the streets until I was tired and very, very lost, and then get a reference point off the map and hopefully find my way home. But a wander down the side streets of Oxford, you never know what you're going to find. It's well worth giving yourself half an hour to an hour and letting yourself get lost.
Here we are in the Radcliffe Square area. As you can see, the Radcliffe Camera is here in the centre. This is a very famous old library which has since become a reading room. It was built in the 1700s and it's a main attraction for lots of tourists visiting Oxford.
Tell that you were lying to me. Then what?
So we're in the grounds of Balliol.
One of the
Come on, eat up then, Jake. Take a bite.